First, notice that this is a snippet of an HTML page. Most browsers will display the content even without a fully formed web page. Firefox will display it just fine. It's not very exciting, but at least we know we should get some content when we load the page dynamically. Let's switch back to the main page and try loading the content in the first section. First of all, we only want to load the content when the load button is clicked. Let's use jQuery to listen for the click on the load button and run an anonymous function in response to the click. We've got an empty function just ready to do some work when the user clicks the load button. There are many ways to accomplish what we want to do, even within the jQuery library. Probably the most common method in use is the load method. Let's start with that. We'll put the load command into the click function. It's pretty simple. We identify the element that we want to load the content into, section 1, and call the load method with the URL we want to load, content1. Let's see what this gives us. As soon as we click the load button, we get the new content right away. We see that everything is working for the load, but the proceed button hasn't been enabled yet. As we ponder this, we recall that the load method in jQuery takes a callback function as a parameter. This function will be called when the load is completed. Let's give that a try and see if that works like we want. We'll add an anonymous function as a second parameter to the load method and just remove the disabled attribute from the proceed button. Now that we have our callback function defined, let's give it a try. This is the pattern that is most commonly in use in websites. Everything seems to be working properly, but there are a couple of problems. The first one is the use of the callback function to enable the proceed button. What happens when we need to load multiple content pages? Which one should we put a callback function on? The other problem we'll encounter in just a moment, but for now we should know that we can't trust our eyes. Our first attempt looks good so far. We haven't introduced the second and third content pages. That's when we'll notice what's wrong with this example. We verified how processing works with the callback function, but we're still not using the deferred object.